On today's episode of the official Young Hunger podcast, we are privileged to introduce to you Mr. Daniel Dargan. A 24-year-old online fitness coach embodies the true spirit of resilience and transformation. Daniel's journey from the depths of depression to emerging as an absolute fitness powerhouse is nothing short of inspiring. Get ready to be motivated and empowered by Daniel's story. Let's go chat to him.
Hey guys, my name is Daniel Dargan. I'm an online fitness coach from Northern Ireland. I'm gassed to get into the conversation today, and the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away is that if you don't believe in yourself, find somebody who will. You might be experiencing thoughts, you might be experiencing feelings that are holding you back from becoming that person that you want to become, but recognize that those thoughts, those feelings, they are normal. And for you to become that person that you want to become, you need to push past those. You need to stretch that fabric of what you think you're capable of doing and push past and perform anyway. I want you to think of that person that you want to become and start acting like that person today. Stop thinking about climbing the mountain. Look at that next step. What's the smallest step that you could take today? And tick the box. Tick the box like your life depends on it. So I can't wait to get into this episode. Big love, and let's go, baby.
Thank you for inviting us to your class house, mate.
Pleasure is all mine. It's mum and dad's. They're very hard workers, so I can't take the credit.
How did you talk them into letting us film here?
They were all over it.
Yeah,
they love it. Yeah,
big supporters.
Yeah, massive supporters. The biggest supporters.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Yeah, the best parents you could ask for.
I actually seen I was doing my research because you do that before every guest.
You're on the ball.
Yeah,
I like it.
You've done it like a couple of good podcasts I've seen there. There was one with like your coffee with Tim.
Coffee with Tim. Shout out Tim.
Yeah, shout out to Tim, and then Angus Warburton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good guy, yeah, and that's what we were saying before. And like, people don't have enough of these conversations, like long, thought-provoking conversations where you leave feeling better.
Yeah.
I remember the first podcast that I done. First podcast that I'd done it over Zoom, and I just started thinking afterwards, like the last time I had a conversation like that, I was chinned at an after party at 5 a.m. in a kitchen somewhere in the Holy Lands.
Yeah.
So people don't have it enough, and honestly, like I love what you're doing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Appreciate that. I feel like you take this type of stuff in your stride, do you? I feel like you were doing like a event there with like 200 different people in the audience and stuff. How do you find all that?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I can tell. You know,
it fires me up.
Yeah.
No, it actually does fire me up. First public speaking gig was in summer. And again, it's something that it was one of my goals for this year. I wanted to tick off 2 public speaking gigs, and thankfully we've done that now.
Yeah.
So the first one was in Marbella for 70 people, and then the one at the weekend there was for 200. But I absolutely loved it, and hopefully people came away having taken value from it. But it was some feeling.
It takes balls that too. You know what I mean? It takes like a full, because I've seen you like recording while on stage.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that is nuts. Like.
You know it has to be done because again, one, obviously you want to capture the moment, but two, like I think it's important to be able to walk the walk as well and show that it's not all just put on. Everything's not scripted, recorded. Like it's that's the way I like to do things,
Yeah.
But
where does that come from? Because I feel like people aren't born with confidence, right? And I feel like that is such a confident thing to do. Where did that stem from? Where did the whole thing arrive from? Because everyone we speak to, they always say about like their early days and how that sort of makes them into the
formative years.
Yeah. And what were your sort of early days and stuff like, I suppose?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I could not have asked for a better childhood. Grew up with a loving mum and dad, younger brother, older brother. We all played football. We were competitive, but we all got on. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, what made me confident growing up, was my parents always instilling that belief in you. There was nothing, they always said, there's nothing that you can't do. You can do anything. I'll never forget, they always used to say that you can do anything. And I always just had that belief growing up. Like I was in such a bubble of, well, nothing bad's going to happen. I can do anything. So everything's rosy. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that maybe came to bite me down the line when I realised like that bubble had been burst. But growing up, someone believing you was that was everything. And I always say to people now, I actually said it on Saturday there as well, that if you don't believe in yourself, find somebody who will. You need to find somebody who will believe in you more than you believe in yourself, because sometimes we can't see one day in front of us, but having somebody that believes in you. It's like I had a coach a couple of years ago that could foresee what I'm doing now, and I have him to thank for that. I have my mum and dad to thank for the confidence that they give me growing up. Yeah. But a lot of people have the wrong idea about confidence. People think you're born with confidence. We're absolutely not.
Yeah.
Confidence comes from doing things consistently over time. To be confident in any realm, you need competence. And to have competence, there needs to be consistent reps, day in, day out, over time. And it's like the first day you started your job, probably a little anxious, probably a little nervous, you didn't know what you were doing. And then now look at yourself maybe 1-2 years down the line, you don't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
The only difference between the first and the second situation is that there's been more reps. That's literally it. So that should be really comforting to anyone, knowing that if there's something which you want to turn your hand to but you don't feel confident, that's okay. Those feelings of anxiety, the stress, the worry, what are they going to think of me? Am I going to be awful at this? That's perfectly normal. And we want to be able to dance with those emotions, recognize that that's normal, and be able to push past and perform anyway. Because if we always fall victim to our emotions, we'll never do anything. And that's one big thing that I've learned over the years, that when it comes to posting the videos, when it comes to the public speaking,
yes,
those feelings are normal. The first time I done it, I was nervous, but that's normal.
Yeah.
Accepting and realizing that is normal, and we can't get away from it.
Now you've done more reps. You feel, you know, it's in you're in the groove. You know what I mean? Like you're just rhyming it off, mate.
Yeah, for sure. But it comes from consistently doing that. Yeah. And that's what like going to the gym taught me. And the reason why I want to push myself to do the public speaking, the reason why I push myself to do the videos as well, like me going to the gym as an online fitness coach, I'm comfortable going to the gym. So me as a coach giving advice to someone who's maybe a little overweight, maybe doesn't have the confidence to go into the gym, that's so easy for me to say. Yeah. Push past that barrier and get to the gym. That's so easy for me to say. Yeah. But what wasn't comfortable was for me getting into a blue bin every single morning, facing that fear of, oh my God, really don't want to do it, but I'm going to push past that. Like doing the uncomfortable thing to then be comfortable down the line. It's like going public speaking. That was a complete new territory for me. Yeah. That was really scary. Yeah. But I knew that on the other side of that was confidence, and then the confidence followed. I'm only a few reps in, and I want to go 50, 100, more and more, and spread the word and impact as many people as possible. I can
definitely tell that, you know what I mean? Like even just sort of coming into the room, you can feel the energy and stuff. It's high, like, you know what I mean? Come on!
Well, that's who it was, yeah.
What was sort of, was it a pilot you were looking to do, or what was sort of?
Yeah. So it was a lot. Yeah, we've done a 180. So growing up, again, I had a fantastic childhood. Just never had any pushback whatsoever. Got the GCSEs, nailed my GCSEs, there was no struggle. Then I got the A-levels, and obviously at A-levels you're required to do a little more work. Yeah. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. Got into drinking, got into other recreational things, and as a result of that, like, I just lost focus. I just lost the drive to do anything. Yeah. It came to study leave. Do you remember when it came to May time, the sun was shining, you had to sit indoors studying. Well, the sun was shining, but I wasn't doing the studying. I was going to Weimark, getting a pack of Copperberg and sitting out in the sun with tunes on, in my boxers, drinking. And that is really sad to look back on, because I was only a young boy, and like I wasn't striving to be better. I wasn't doing anything to make something of myself, because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I was like, I thought, well, that's fun, I'm going to do that. I was a victim of my emotions, and I just didn't know any better, right? I thought that anyway. So everyone thought, you know what, he'll do no problem in his A-levels. Absolutely flunked my A-levels. I think I got D, E, and a U. Okay, I was predicted maybe A, B, ABB or ABC. Yeah. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Results day, it was the end of the world. People would call me stupid. People would call me an idiot.
You failed the life nearly. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Of course. Like, I mean, 100%. Because my friends were going off to university. They were like lawyer, doctor, and I thought, I'm being left behind here. I'm not going to make anything of myself. And they've got their lives figured out at 18. That's it. It's game over. Yeah. So from having a fantastic childhood, I can do anything. The bubble had been burst. You can't do anything, Daniel. Hold on, like you've actually stumbled at this hurdle. What are you going to do about it? And I didn't know what to do. I done what I knew well, was drinking and partying. So that continues, and
because you're in the online coaching now.
Yeah.
Well, when did that come about? When was
so that's again. I'm gonna get that through the story, because it is a long-winded story, but I'll try and make it as brief as possible. But through the drinking, the partying, I worked in Topshop, loved it, and my neighbour, he was actually a pilot, and I was so inspired by that. I loved that. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, is any guy being a pilot? Yeah. So I actually, for my birthday, I got a pilot lesson, a flying lesson. I went down, I loved it, I thought it was fantastic, and I thought, like, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna pursue the career as a pilot. And I loved it. I moved down to Dublin when I was 19, 20. I lived down there for maybe 18 months. done my exams, done flying, but through that as well, like I got to a position where I was still doing the drinking, I was still doing the drugs, I was still partying, and I was burning the candle so much at both ends that it got to the stage where, for the first time in my life, I'd experienced this feeling in my chest, and it was debilitating. It's like someone was putting a mask over my mouth where I couldn't talk. It was like the worst anxiety that I'd ever experienced. But I didn't know what that was because I'd never experienced it. But I soon found myself from being extremely outgoing to being someone that didn't want to go into the room, didn't want to go in and out, didn't want to sit in a room alone with my parents. And that was pretty scary for me. It got to the stage where it was the anxiety, then the depression came in, then the thoughts came in of, well, like, is it even worth it anymore? It got to the position where I was searching the easiest way out. And it got to a stage where it was so bad, and bear in mind, nobody knew about this. I was the happy-go-lucky guy that was down in Dublin, training to be a pilot. It was fantastic, living the dream. But then I made an attempt on my life, and I woke up in the hospital, and it was like the bubble had been burst again. The bubble had been burst. Everybody knew. Cat was out the bag. And it was made so public. And this is a big part of the story, that it was made so public. Daniel Dargan missing, police are looking for him.
Belfast Live, did I think? Yes.
Shout out Belfast Live, yeah. But they put it out there, and thousands of people shared it. So I woke up the next morning in the hospital. What was going on? It was, the bubble had been burst. Mum and Dad sitting there. I didn't know that anybody else knew about this. So I thought, okay, cat's out the bag with Mum and Dad, but it's fine. I'll go back to my normal life. When I got my phone, they said, Daniel, this has been made very public. Everybody knew about it. The guy that was once confident, happy-go-lucky, had it all going for him, that was gone. So it was almost the lowest point that I possibly could have gone without dying.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's like the rebuild started from there. But it wasn't rebuilding for myself. It was rebuilding for other people. And I think that's a really important lesson as well. That if there's something that you want to do, put the onus on you for other people. It's like when I get into that bin in the morning, sometimes I don't want to, I think, I don't want to do that. If I go to the sea and record a video, I don't want to do it some days, but I think of the people that need to see the video. So putting the responsibility on me for other people pushes me to do that thing. So after that event, I had a coach, and I had no belief in myself. From going from a kid that had all the belief in the world, I had no belief. I thought I was a loser, a waster, a druggie, no direction in life whatsoever. Yeah. And I met up with him, Ben Heron, his name was, fantastic guy, changed my life.
Yes.
Met up with Ben, and he sat with me for about 4 or 5 hours, just listened. He just listened.
How was that, sort of, whenever you got to actually speak to someone about that, in like 4 hours of just sort of getting it off your chest? How'd that feel?
A weight off my shoulders, so cliche to say, but it was. Yeah. And I felt like this guy's the solution to my problem, because he was tell me things that I could do, and we'll do a photo shoot, and we'll get you in mad shape, and we'll like really disciplined, and these were like just crazy ideas to me. But we done it. From that day, 26th of November, 2019, never touched a drug again. I stopped drinking after that event for 9 months. I dropped 12 to 15 kilo, done a photo shoot, started reading into personal development, and that was the first time my mum bought me like a personal development book.
What was it? What was the first one?
Oh, so it was the Stress Solution. So it was the Stress Solution by Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. Okay, so it was more just like how to deal with and battle your emotions and overcome that, become more resilient. And I just fell in love with this. I was trying different techniques, and I thought, oh my God, I actually feel better here. But through COVID, things definitely became a lot more difficult. So I battled that journey, and I realized, like, on the other end of it, this guy has got me to a position where I wanted to kill myself. I had no direction in life whatsoever, and he's changed my life. There's so much more to this than I realized. And I thought, if he could do that for me, I could do that for other people. And I thought, right, I'm either going to be a therapist, I'm going to do something with sport. And I thought, right, I combined the two. And I thought, boom, coach. How it was sitting right in front of me. And I couldn't see it. Yeah. So that was that.
What about sort of, you said you would go up and stuff in the hospital and stuff. What was sort of, I was going to say, how deep down the rabbit hole did you go? But I'm sure that was nearly rock bottom nearly as such.
Oh, well, yeah. If there was any further down the rabbit hole, I would have been dead. Yeah. They would have been burying me.
Yeah. I heard you say a quote one time. It was like, how are you so confident in all this here? And you say, I'm playing in like injury time.
Yeah.
It's injury time. I thought that was amazing hearing that.
It's Fergie time. Like the way I see it and the way I frame it is, I should have been dead that day. Yeah. So any time after that, you're in injury time. It's bonus time that I shouldn't have had, and that's why people say, "Oh, you're always so positive. You're always so happy-go-lucky. You appreciate everything."
That's a superpower.
Because I shouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have had this. So I always say I get the flat white, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Flat white down the hatch. Yeah. Let's go espresso down the hatch. Come on. And people are like, what, like, is that fake? Is that no? If people had been where I was and been as low as I was, they would understand why I appreciate the things that I have so much. Because there was one day where I didn't think I would have anything ever again, and that's why in my reels I talk about, like, you're gonna die one day. In 3 generations time, you will look back and wish you had the things that you have today. Yeah. So I need you to appreciate it. I need you to enjoy it. Yeah. Because you won't have the luxury that you have today. And so many people go to bed in the evening and they don't wake up. So many people have plans the following day and they just never make them. Yeah. But you get that luxury. You have the opportunity to grab today by the plums. And make the most of it. And that's what you should do.
I see a thing you did there. It was like a Monday morning. You're saying like, that's your favorite part of the week, the Monday morning. And that's most people hate that. The Monday morning, the grind is such, you love it.
Yeah, because my Monday it's so good. I get up, I wake up.
What does your day look like? What sort of?
Good question. So I wake up, what my Monday looks like, for example, I have made that my Friday, right? So my Monday is like my people's Friday. Love it. So I wake up. Monday's a lighter work day for me. I just made that because I was like, I'm in charge of my life. I'm gonna live it whatever way I want. Yes. So I wake up at 5. I would do some work. I would do my breath work beforehand. So I do a Wim Hof breathing method. First thing in the morning, I would either get into the bin or go to the sea. Usually on Monday I would record content. So I drive to the beach, Ballygally.
Big up Ballygally.
Like, big up Ballygally dippers. Like, so I would go down to Ballygally. I would bounce into the water, and you'll hear me. God, honestly, I'm just anyone that lives in Ballygally, I'm sorry. They're probably hearing me like,
what a day to be alive.
Like, there's no need for an alarm clock because at like 6:30 in the morning, all they're hearing is woo! And they're thinking, will that guy please shut his mouth? But so I go down there, record content, and then ping that off. And then I would talk on the story. And again, I always feel like a Monday morning is, again, when people suffer the most. A Monday morning is when people, they're looking forward to Friday already, some people, right? And
it's sad that, isn't it? It's sort of...
Yeah, but I want people to realise, again, it goes back to the thing that I said there about, like, not everybody has the opportunity to wake up on a Monday morning. You have that opportunity. And see if we appreciate those little things. Yeah. Like the flat white, like the sunrise. Then your life will be going to be so much better because, like, your perception of the experience is what allows you to have a happy life. Somebody could wake up and it could be raining and they think, what an awful day. That's such a shit day. I went into the spa the other day in the morning and I was grabbing my flat white and they said, I was going my way to the beach and they said, oh, it's an awful day out there.
What did you say?
Mate, I said, you know what I said? What a time to be alive. I said, mate, it's an unbelievable day. And I actually did say that. He's like, mate, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm going to the beach here.
Don't get such a high off that. The way other people are like, here lad, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. But again, I always want to reiterate that back to, like, I was not like this. Yeah. I was really not like this. Yeah. I would be the guy that would be negative. I would be manipulative. I would be toxic. I was not a nice person whatsoever. And I can only say that now with hindsight. And hopefully what the things that I do now make the world a better place, you know. But people think life and enjoying life is cocktails on the beach. People think it's the yacht. People think it's the birthday parties, the Christmas. It's none of that. Those are just one of few in the year. Yeah. But what life actually is
you're flat white.
You're flat white. Yeah. It's your sunrise in the morning, on the Monday morning. It's how you greet your girlfriend, how your family greet you in the morning. That is life. That is happening every single day. And if you can appreciate those little things that happen every day, your life's gonna be so much better.
You know, do you ever do like the goals gratitude mantra? Do you ever do that in the mornings?
No, I used to. I always used to write down like 3 things I'm grateful for, but like I feel like I do gratitude without thinking about it now. Yeah, like it's part of it. Like it's part of it. Yeah, it's part of this. Yeah, it's part of this. Like it is like it's probably just part of that. Like I would have affirmations that I would say to myself. Yeah. If I'm in the water, I would say I'm confident, I'm strong, and I'm a leader. Like I say those things to me like all the time. And like again, as Alex Hermosi says, like confidence doesn't come from shouting affirmations in the mirror, but it comes from building an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. And I do back that firmly.
Yeah.
And affirmations, that's important, but they mean nothing if you don't back it up. Like you could tell yourself you're a leader, but are you leading? Like you could tell yourself you're resilient, but are you doing the things that you don't want to do?
Yeah.
You could tell yourself you're a good person, but you're treating people with disrespect. So that's fine to have daily affirmations. Back it up. And the way you talk to yourself is so important as well. Like it is, the affirmations are important as long as you back that up. I used to say I was lazy, right? I don't know what you did. You ever have anything when you were younger that you always used to a self-limiting belief like that?
It's like saying you'll do something and then you don't do it. Like even like sometimes like you'll go to the gym and then you don't, and it's like a wee mini defeat. You ever feel like that? I feel like you don't. I feel like you've conquered it.
No, definitely. Like there still is. Like for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is your alarm. Like within our coaching group, that's what I tell the guys. We don't do snoozing. That's not part of what we do.
Up straight away.
Yeah, like if you snooze, you're out. That's it. And like again, I don't say that as in like you're literally out, but like again, it's part of the culture. Like we do not fall victim to our emotions. We want to experience our emotions. We never want to suppress them, because as soon as you start to suppressing unhappy emotions, you start to suppress the happy emotions too. So we want to accept them, realizing that's part of life, but be able to push past it anyway. And you said about the promises.
Yes. Saying you're going to do something and then you don't do it. That's the thing that's
like putting a knife in and just twisting it.
Yeah.
But again, like I always say to people, okay, people are like, right, like how did I change my life? And what I'd say to them is, okay, like I want you to close your eyes. And I done this on stage the other day. I said, right, again, we'll do it now, will we? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's do it. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And I want you to think in 12 months' time of that person that you wish to become. How do they think? How do they feel? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they perceive themselves? What have they achieved? And how do other people perceive them? And think about that individual. Think about that, Michael.
Okay.
You got clear on that? Okay, you can open your eyes now. And like that's the individual that we want to become, right? Call it Michael 2.0. That's the identity that we're going to become. And everything we do from today is either going to move us forward or backward to that Michael.
Yeah.
And every time we keep a promise, we close the gap between those two people. Every time we break a promise, we widen the gap. So from you to become that person you want to become, it's just a case of keeping promises. That's literally it. And any difficult decision that you're faced with, ask yourself, what would that version of me do?
Yeah.
And do it. And that's all we need to do. And it sounds very simple. And of course, like it's a lot more difficult in practice than theory.
Yeah.
But if you just tick the next box, you will get there.
What was like, I feel like the 2019 Daniel to like the guy I'm sitting across, I feel like that's a completely different 180 of a guy. What was the middle bit? What was sort of the bit that like made you who you are? Like what was because I feel like a lot of people can learn and grow from you, and your mental strength is just off the chart, but like,
thank you, mate.
How can people get that? How can people do that? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, firstly, again, as I said, like it comes from getting clear. Like if you're not happy with who you are, like you need to get clear on who you want to become first. And like it's also asking yourself, like, who do I not want to become? So you've heard about the study of Jordan Peterson. Talks about the rat in the tube. The
yes.
Rat.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening, I'll just go. I think it was Alex Hormozy and Chris Williamson spoke about it. So they have starving rats and they place them in the tube. They attach a spring to the rat's tail, and when the rat pulls, it's proxy for desire. In the first instance, they waft the smell of cheese through the front, and they're starving rats. Of course, they're going to pull very hard. But in the second iteration of the study, they waft the smell of cheese through the front, but they also waft the smell of the cat in from behind.
Urgency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the rat pulls 3 times as hard. And what's the lesson? It's that not only do you have to have something to run towards, but you have to have something you want to run away from as well. You have to have something that you want to run away from. So yes, get clear on who you want to become, but who do you not want to become? And that might be you right now. And like my cat is Daniel of 2019.
Yeah.
I asked myself, how did Daniel think? How did Daniel behave? What kind of things was he doing, and who was he surrounding himself with? I don't do any of those things anymore. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like you need to ask yourself, is your current environment conducive to where you want to go? And for me back then, I got clear on that Daniel that I want to become. And I since I got to that Daniel, last year.
Yeah.
And I since, at the start of this year, had a bit of an identity crisis, and I thought, shit, I didn't think I'd get here this quickly. I need to reframe and think of the new person I want to become. And that Daniel that I became last year, he didn't beat himself up. He looked for the silver lining in every situation. He didn't drink every weekend. He didn't take drugs. He trained when he said he was going to train, and he done one difficult thing every single day. Yeah. And like I had to say to myself, okay, like what are the traits that Daniel would have? Anytime I was questioning, fighting with that inner bitch, as Goggins would say, do you want to do it? Like, are you going to do it? I just had to say, what would that Daniel do? No, you've got to do it then.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You're rhyming off a lot of guys here, and like I can relate to that because it's all personal development, isn't it?
They are who I looked up to as I was going through that journey, because like as young men, I'm sure you definitely agree, like we are very impressionable, and we need to, like, we want to aspire to someone, and like you either aspire to someone who brings you up or pulls you down. That's the choice that you make when you're younger. Yeah. And when I was going through that personal development journey, I looked up like who are the figures that I want to aspire to become, who are the people that I want to learn from. Yeah. And it is those people, like again, you're like the David Goggins, that I wanted the grit of like David Goggins. I wanted to have the thought-provoking ideas of Jordan Peterson, and don't get me wrong, we're light years away from that, but at the same time it is a journey. Yeah. You know, and
so you're nearly picking out wee bits that you like from each.
I don't want to live a life with David Goggins.
Yeah.
That's not a life I want to live. I don't want to live a life with Jordan Peterson as well.
Yeah.
But
taking
like again, like look at the characteristics of the people that you admire and take things from those people and bring that into your own life. You know.
What about the ice bath and stuff? I sort of want to talk about that because it's nuts, isn't it? I feel like it's a big thing about you. Like every time I look on like Instagram.
Ben Hoff.
Yeah, I love that, mate. I love that.
But I didn't coin it. I wish I did. I wish I was that creative, but I didn't.
I love it because I can relate, and like I do it, but like
do it as well.
Yeah, and it's a game changer, isn't it? It's complete.
Changed the game.
Yeah,
completely changed the game for me.
It's crazy, but it's a game changer.
It's crazy until you start it.
Yes.
And it's Jay Alderton. He had that quote of people. There's two types of people.
Yeah.
There are those that want to see the benefits before trying it. And there are those that try it to see the benefits and always be the latter. That's the advice that he gave, and I thought, okay, right, I'm going to lean into this. And it actually started because I had a lot of clients that lived in landlocked areas. I was doing sea dips at the time. They didn't have access to the sea, and I thought, right, okay, no excuses. I'm going to get a bin. Rang up the council. I said, somebody stole my black. Like, there's obviously, like, there's nobody that lives close by to me, right? So nobody's going to be stealing my bins. I said, listen, somebody stole my black bin. Can you send out another one, please? And he said, yeah, that's £50. And I said, somebody stole the blue bin as well. I knew the blue bins were free. And they were like, sweet, no worries, it'll be at your house next week. So got the blue bin, and that was it. And again, with the content, like, I obviously am an online coach, and I only started coaching maybe 18 months ago, and I wanted to blow that business up as much as possible, like to get the position where one, I was financially free, two, I could impact as many people as possible. And that's a large part of what we do as well, is again, for our marketing, but the most important thing is that it impacts people. Like, it has a greater impact than I thought we could have had. So that's how it started. I had an early mentor. He said to me, Daniel, when they zig, you zag.
Right.
When they're doing one thing, you have to do another. Because if you're just doing the same thing as everybody else, you're going to get the same result that everybody else has. So how can you be different? How can you stand out? What's going to make them stop the scroll and think, what is this guy? So that's how I started. I thought, right, okay, people talk about training, people talk about nutrition.
No one does what you do, like.
Very, very few people in Northern Ireland were talking about mindset. And that's a massive part of the puzzle. Yeah. If you have all the training knowledge, if you have all the knowledge of nutrition, but you aren't good between the ears, you'll never implement long term. It goes back to that saying of there's no point having a Fiat 500 engine in a Ferrari, something of that sort. Yeah. It was something like that.
Yeah.
There's no point being a Ferrari with a Fiat 500 engine. We got there in the end. But it's true. So I realized, okay, a couple of years ago, I used to have the knowledge, but I didn't implement long term. So what's the missing piece? And it was obviously mindset and the way I actually frame and think about things. And that's what I wanted to talk to people about. I also wanted to share my story, because I believe that if I share my story and show people that I was once here, I have now got to this position where I feel mentally resilient. Yeah. I feel confident. I don't feel anxious every day. Then they could do that too.
I feel like it's good because like you're showing that you weren't always this like Superman of a guy. If I feel like the guy 2019 you
was
like
a waster.
Yeah, but like a lot of people can probably relate to that. You know what I mean? It's like if you're following the crowd and stuff, probably are drinking a wee bit more than you should, and I feel like drugs, stuff, bad habits. It's such it's not even looked down upon really here because so many people are doing it. You know what I mean?
It's more abnormal.
Yeah.
To go for a C-dip at 6 a.m. than it is to get a bag of coke in at Thompson's at the weekend. And that's fact. That's fact. More people will say you're crazy if you're getting up to go in a blue bin.
Yes.
Than going on a 3-day bender.
Yeah.
And that's just how we are as
It's
society.
mad, isn't it?
But
it's actually nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to dictate what we do. Just because society does one thing doesn't mean we have to do another thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely something which I want to highlight to a lot of people is that things weren't always the way they are now.
Yeah.
That has been 4 years of making mistakes, making fuck-ups, all those promises that I spoke about. I broke so many promises, and you're going to break promises, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But maybe the next time that you go on a run of trying to keep promises, it might be a longer stint. And then one day you might get to the position where you're like, you know what, like I'm actually doing everything that I say I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you look back and you realised, I'm actually now that person that I wanted to become.
How does that feel?
Great.
Does it feel like
But
what
there's
you
more
thought? Did you feel like in your own head? Did you feel like this is what I knew it would feel like, or was it like is this it?
No, and don't get me wrong. Like I've now got to the position where I wanted to get to, and it's right. Okay, we reframe, we reset. Where's the next goal that we want to hit? Like who do I want to become now? Because
who is the guy you want to become?
I'm chasing him, man, and I don't know who it is, and that's okay. Like if you get to your end of your days and you're still chasing someone, I think that's okay. But like the beauty is in the pursuit, not the acquisition.
Yeah.
Of that thing that you're trying to obtain, and that's what I've realised. Getting the 6-pack doesn't fulfill you, but the journey to getting the 6-pack is fulfilling.
Yeah.
And that's the same in anything that we do.
Yeah.
So I think once you get to the position that you're at, you have to reframe, or else you get complacent. You get comfortable, and what happens when you get comfortable? You start doing the things that you want to do instead of the things you need to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't think that I would get to where I am now. I just, as in how I feel in myself, I didn't think I would get to that.
What are you now? 24.
Yes, and for anyone watching, tough paper round. I know, don't need to hear it. I know I look 40.
That's a compliment, surely. If someone says that, no.
I almost thought that.
Yeah.
And then as I've got older, I was like, "Are you 24? I thought you were a bit older." And I was like, "Do I look like a battered handbag or something?" But yeah, I'm taking it for now.
Yeah.
It was class when I was 18.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get asked for ID, but. Yeah,
you want to retract it, run it back.
Run it back. Yeah. I need to get on some anti-aging here.
Yeah. The one thing I actually seen there, and what I've sort of been thinking about since I've been talking to you, is like the short-term gratification versus the long-term. I feel like that's something you've definitely dived into, the long-term gratification. You know, like the drinking and the drugs, all short-term. You feel good in the moment, as in like, even the ice bath, you don't feel good doing it, but it's the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Isn't it just, it's polar opposite, like, you know what I mean?
If you do things for how they make you feel tomorrow, if you do things for how they make you feel after instead of how they make you feel during it, your life will change.
Yeah. What time do you get up?
5.
What time do you go to bed?
9 o'clock.
How do you, that's like discipline right the way throughout the day. You know what I mean? Going to bed at 9 or 9:30, it's tough, like.
Yeah, I've nothing else to do. I've nothing else to do. But I don't see my mates through the week, as in like they're all busy. Like we just have things going on. And my girlfriend lives in London, Tia.
How do you find the long distance thing?
It's tough.
Yeah.
But I look at the bright side of it, and it gives you an opportunity to work on yourself. It means we always have something to look forward to, and it means the time we spend together is golden. So again, it comes back to how do you frame it?
Yeah.
You know, like our experience here on this earth is dictated by how we reframe every situation, and every single 100% of our life, it's all thought generated. That sounds so wishy-washy when I think about it back, but it's all thought generated, and like we have an infinite ability to reframe every situation. So yeah, long distance, it's great. I'm actually going to see her next week. The time we spent.
Where's she, London?
London. Yeah, I love her to bits. Yeah, absolutely love her.
How long has that been going for? How long sort of?
A year. So we've been going for a year. So it's a funny story. So the night before the bars closed in 2020, I went to Filthy's, I wasn't actually going to go because the barber at the time absolutely gave me like
Scalped you?
Scalped me. It was one of them ones like we're going to be in lockdown for like 10 weeks, and I think there was just a lack of communication. I think he thought I'll give him a trim to do him 10 weeks, and I looked around, I looked like a cue ball. I was like, mate, what is? I looked like a microphone. It was not the one. Anyway, so I went to this bar, sitting with my mates, and this shop girl came over and she says, I think my friend would really like you. I'll come back. And I was like, right, okay. So this girl came up and she says, hey, do you want a shot? And I said, nah, I'm alright. Because every other guy would be buying shots off the gorgeous girl. And I was like, I'm not going to be same as everyone else here.
Simp? Yeah.
Simp. I'm not about that. Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm sweet. And that was that. At the end of the night, she came up to me and she asked for my Instagram, and
that's pretty cool. Do you not take that as a win? Like that's
100%.
Yeah, normally the guys asking for the Instagram.
High value man, come on. But no, it was. I rated that. Do you know what I mean? I rated that confidence. And then she said to me, like the least slick message back. She's like, you can take me out for a drink tomorrow, and the bars were closing for like 3 months. I was like, nice one, man. But then that didn't transpire. Didn't speak for about a year, maybe 8 or 9 months, and then she put up a picture once of the beach. I was like, oh, she looks gorgeous, and I shot her a message. I was like, come on for a sea dip.
She did all too, does she?
No, but I was like, I got to the stage where when I was dating people, I was like, I'm going out and spending £200 on a date. I don't remember it, and nothing's coming of it. So I was like, I'm making a rule. No drinks on the first date. So that was the rule. So that's why I was like, right, come on, we'll go for a sea dip. Went for a sea dip, and so it was unbelievable. Sun was coming down, music playing, fire was lit, and some guy was in the water at Helen's Bay, and he started screaming, help, help, help. And I was like, fuck, this guy's acting the dick, he's not that far out. And this guy like started to go under. I was like, oh my god, here, like this is my Baywatch moment. So top off, run.
How much did you pay him?
Yeah, I know. I was like, yo, say nothing. So NI extras. So I ran in, grabbed this guy, and you know the way they say like, don't try and rescue someone because they'll pull you under. This guy just pulls me under, and then these other guys. So we brought this guy in. And then Tay was like, how much did you pay him? She was like, he was a paid actor. But that was that then. So yeah, she's a lawyer over in London. Like, she's like the best.
Is she on the personal development sort of?
Not really, but that's why I love that. Like,
opposites attract nearly.
Yeah, like she's not like she wouldn't like go out smashing, partying. Like she's not like that. She goes to the gym every so often. She doesn't eat, like she just looks after herself, which I love. Like I wouldn't love like a gym girl. Like that's just not my thing. That's my job. I don't want to come home and talk about it. Do you know what I mean? As much as I love it, like it's nice to have a change of conversation. So
I've got one tonight. Have you any advice? Cut this out.
I did.
One tonight. I do.
Is this a wee Tinder job?
No. It's funny enough. It's another story. The guy actually who my best mate Sam, who we sort of met each other through. He's seen a girl, right? Actually, probably might need to cut this out.
Oh no, keep it.
No, they'll be watching. But literally like a week or two ago, it was like, here, I'm seeing his woman, and she has a friend like in their uni house in Belfast. Do you want to go? I was like, fuck it, let's go. So I sort of went down and stuff, and I actually don't even know. He sort of talked to his woman, and then I literally didn't even know what this girl looked like beforehand. And now I was like, fuck it, let's get a date going, man. So
love it.
Going down doing that tonight, so I'll let you know. I'll shoot you a message and let you know how it goes.
Let me know how it get. I hope you get the paid actor sorted. Hopefully.
But you go down to the beach.
I got you, man. Yeah.
Down to the slipways.
Yeah, oh man. You're in. Trust me.
That's not even scripted. That's actually true. Like, that's the best part.
I'm gasped. So many, but like it's actually mad that it wasn't off Tinder. So many guys nowadays.
Especially after COVID and stuff, you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things.
It's easier to take a rejection over social media than it is in person.
Think so?
Yeah, because you swipe to the next one in person. If you go up and ask someone and they just reject you, like that is difficult to take if you're not used to it. Absolutely, you know. So,
were you ever on Tinder? Were you ever on it?
Yeah, for sure.
How'd you find that? Was that sort of
great? I got a confession in it. So I used to,
It's like Piers Morgan life story.
It is, yeah. No, I used to get one message and just like copy and paste and send to all. But I just had an idea. It was right, one's gonna land. And that was the idea. That sounds so sleazy, but I'm a changed man. This was a couple of good few years ago, like, but which is crazy. Like the rate of sexlessness is down drastically.
I think Chris Williamson said that.
Exactly.
Didn't he? Yeah.
And the year where that started to decline drastically was the year where Tinder was introduced, which is crazy because you think, okay, so many men, it's much more opportunity to connect with other females, but yet
There's less of it now.
There's less of it now.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think of that? What do you sort of? That's an interesting statistic. Do you think?
Yes. 100%. Like I think because guys don't take rejection in person, I think they're so used to swiping on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like again, it is so easy to get rejected online compared to in person.
Yeah. Because you don't really feel it. You know what I mean? I feel like if you actually went out to a girl, say in Filthies or something, you walked up to her and like say she rejected you, you actually take a wee bit away from that rejection. You sort of learn from it, you know what I mean? You sort of build that like confidence.
It's the reps.
Yes.
It's how do you become confident at chatting to girls through competence? How do you obtain competence through reps, through getting slapped in the face rejection every single time? Yeah. You know, and again,
what dating advice would you have for those guys? Just now we're on the topic. Like, what's the go-to for that you've sort of?
Oh my god, I listened to there was a podcast I listened to. I thought it was fantastic. I must say it. So there was this guy goes over to a group of girls in the bar, and he says, "Listen, girls, there's this girl over there. And she's absolutely gorgeous. What do you think would be a great thing to say to her?" And they say, "Oh my god, like say, like you're the most gorgeous girl in the bar. Like I think your eyes are so pretty, and yeah, you'd love her to buy her a drink." So he's like, "Okay, right, sweet." So he walks around, comes back around the bar, and he comes up to these girls. He says, "I think you're really gorgeous. I love your eyes are beautiful. I love to buy your drink." And the girls laughed, and they thought it was hilarious. But I've seen that on some podcasts. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. But no, I personally...
You'll see every guy in Belfast doing that.
Everybody, but yeah. I honestly just think that if you can open up to someone and show your personality, be confident, that's such a cliche thing to say, but if you can actually be yourself...
Yeah. What do they say? Authenticity is a superpower.
100%.
Yeah.
What is your USP?
Yeah.
You. That's why I say to all of these coaches that I speak to, everybody knows about training. Everybody knows about nutrition. A lot of people know about mindset.
Yeah.
What's your USP? You.
Yeah.
So lean into it. The one thing, like nobody can do better than you.
Is you.
Exactly. And people are going to judge you for no matter what you do, but you'd rather be judged for who you actually are than someone that you're not.
Do you still feel that? Do you still feel like judgment and stuff whenever you're like in the beach? Say you're like taking a video or something and people are maybe watching stuff. Do you ever feel that? Do you ever be like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel judgment.
Yeah. But you still do the act. You still like carry it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Because if we bow down to those emotions and we don't dance with them, then we're a victim of our emotions. We always will be then.
Did you dance?
I danced. My hips can move, boy. But again, because like our brain will connotate that feeling with shine away.
Yeah.
And for me, I think when we feel that feeling, we have to push ourselves to do it, and our brain is going to register that and be like, okay, when those feelings come up again, that's normal. I'm going to continue doing what I need to do anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. Like, if anyone takes anything from this conversation, it's regardless of the feelings that you're having, you're experiencing, the stress, the anxiety, the worry, do the difficult thing because your life will be easier tomorrow. Like if you do the hard things today, life will be easy. And a lot of people get caught in doing the easy thing. They get caught in doing what they want to do as opposed to what they need to do.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they suffer more down the line.
It's a short-term gratification, isn't it? Long-term?
It's like choosing that suffer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when it comes to dieting, for example, everything can be related to fat loss. Yeah. Everything. But when it comes to short-term suffer, it's like, okay, like you can suffer today. You can dig deep. You can lean into the diet. And you will have the long-term confidence down the line. Or you can have the comfort today. You don't need to do the difficult thing, but down the line you will suffer when you look in the mirror. So like choose your regret. Yeah. What are you going to go with? You know, because we will regret everything we do, but it's choosing the regret that we want the least.
There's something I actually wanted to say to you. You mentioned a while back actually about mentors and stuff. How much of that was an impact in your life?
Probably the biggest out of anything.
How come? What was the thing? You said it was a Ben...
Heron.
Yes.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
I said it to everybody. People are probably sick of me saying that. So Ben, if you're listening...
There's another shout out.
You're the man. That's 2 shout outs. Bro, you must have done something right. Wow. I shouted him out on stage too.
Did you?
Yeah, because he did. He changed my life. But again, it goes back to the conversation that if you don't believe in yourself, find somebody who will. There's so many people out there. They can mentor you. There's so many people out there that will be in the position that you want to be in. Learn from them.
It's life changing, isn't it?
It's life changing because people have knowledge and people have expertise that you currently do not have. that may take you 5 years to obtain. And when you hire a mentor, it collapses time. You learn from those people in such a short space of time. Like my business mentor, like I'm actually very good friends with them now, and I actually work with them too. That they completely changed my life, income wise, impact wise, and it's been revolutionary. Was it a big investment? Yes. Did it pay off? Absolutely. And they believed in me, and they also give me the tools, the knowledge, and the expertise, which would have taken me 10 years to obtain. So anyone that's struggling out there, invest in someone who's in a position where you're in already. But you will always get people, no matter what you do, that are gonna criticize you. But remember, like, don't take advice from someone that's not in the position where you want to be in.
Yes.
You'll get advice from your mum. You'll get advice from your dad. You'll get advice from your girlfriend or your boyfriend. If they're not in the position where you want to be, then they're not really qualified to give you that advice. Of course, yes, take advice from your loved ones, but with a pinch of salt. Everybody means well. It always comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need to take that chance with someone. And I took the chance with Ben Heron. I took the chance with Tony and Stephen, and that changed my life. I know I have a coach as well for physique, and again, changed my life. I've learned from. I will always have a mentor because there's so much more that we can learn from.
Yeah. What's your sort of biggest takeaway if someone's looking to start like a business, not just really in the coaching side of things, but any business? What's sort of the biggest? Actually, have failures and challenges written down here. What's some of the biggest failures and challenges you faced, other than the Belfast Live stuff, like from starting a business to the successful entrepreneur you are now?
I would say last year, in the very short term, last June, it got to the position where I had started coaching on the gym floor, and I just didn't have the right systems in place. I just wasn't a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
Probably not a fantastic businessman either. And I just didn't have the right strategies in place. I didn't frame the clients correctly. Retention dropped massively. The results weren't fantastic. And as a result of that, like the business, it just didn't look like it was going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I knew I had something in the locker which other people didn't have. I knew I had so much more to offer. So again, I hired those people that were in a position that I wanted to be in. I learned from them. I realized, okay, I do have something, but I just need to get my ducks in line, and then that will follow suit. Yeah. But yeah, it got to the position where I had obtained X amount of clients, and I had lost a lot of clients. There were bleeding clients because I just didn't have certain things. I didn't have the right systems. The business just was not in a fantastic place, and I'd seen that as a failure at the time. Also with my A-levels, that was a failure at the time. With committing suicide, trying to commit suicide wasn't my forte. Yeah. It was everyone squirms when I say that. When I say that joke, they're like, "Oh, do I react?"
What do I say next?
Yeah. No, don't worry. But yeah, again, they were all failures.
Yeah.
I broke up with my girlfriend last year. That was a failure, and it was a failure because I didn't communicate properly, and I let go of someone. I nearly lost somebody that was so dear to me. That was lack of communication. So these are all these micro or maybe macro failures at the time. We look back and we realize that they're the catalyst to who I am today.
Yeah. It's nearly a win.
It's a massive win. I don't see that. People are like, oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that. Like about me trying to take my own life. I'm like, no, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. When I tried to take my own life, that was like a catapult to spring me into personal development, which changed my life, which allowed me to help other people. When I broke off my girlfriend, due to lack of communication, it's the best part of our relationship now. We are fantastic communicators.
Yeah, that near failure had to happen for you to have the success you have now, isn't it?
It has to happen.
Yeah.
So I think when you have those failures, accept and recognize that that's part of it. Yeah. And that will be the one thing that you look back and thank yourself for down the line. Like if you had to create that identity, that person that you wish to become, think about that person. Like you closed your eyes and you thought about him.
Yeah.
What would you put him through? Would you give him an easy ride? Would it be all wins, all successes, no hardship and challenge faced?
I put him through hell.
You put him through fucking hell.
Yeah.
You'd put him through the ringer, because you know that on the other side of that is resilience. You know on the other side of that is grit, is determination, is willpower, and that's only obtained through struggle. Yeah. So when you are going through that struggle, lean in, do the difficult thing, because you'll thank yourself tomorrow. But if you stay in that comfort zone, if you fall victim to your emotions, it only gets harder from here. Yeah. And I'm testament to that, and I'm also testament to the flip of that as well, that if you do the difficult thing, your life will change for the better.
Yeah, because you've done both sides.
Yeah, and that's why, again, when I talk about these things, I'm not just reading it in a book, like that's lived experience.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we try to give to our clients as well. Like a lot of what we try and do is, yes, of course, we get our guys, not try and do, we get our guys into the shape of their lives. We also get our guys absolutely bulletproof between the ears, so that they can get a result and maintain it long term.
Yeah. And
that's a big part of what we do, is through the experiences that I've had, I'm making these guys resilient too.
How's that feel whenever, like, you see a client doing what, change their life as such?
Fulfilling.
Yeah.
And realising that they're like, there's a much...
Like, this shit works. Do you know what I mean? It's probably like that wee
it is,
light bulb moment, like.
But it's more important than me. It's like a mission, and that's so cliche to say, but it's like in our community, within our client group, it's a culture.
Yeah.
We do the difficult thing. We choose the hard route. We don't bow down to our emotions. We do cold water therapy. I don't even call it cold water therapy. It's a dip in the sea. Yeah.
Sea dipper.
Yeah, I'm a dipper. Like, yeah, but yeah, again, we do those difficult things, and like that's part of the culture, and it feels fulfilling when someone's gone through that and someone says, you know what, this has changed my life. Because it's not just me, it's not just them it impacts, it's somebody else's life, and like I'm very grateful that I get the opportunity to work with those people. You know, so very fulfilled. You know, but again, it comes back to what I was doing before training as a pilot.
Yeah. Your life would have been completely different.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Is that not nuts to think like that? You know what I mean? That one simple avenue as such back those couple of years ago was completely...
Butterfly effect, baby.
It is, isn't it? It's mad, like...
It is crazy. But I'm so glad it turned out the way it did.
Yeah.
Because through that period, before I had transitioned to an online coach, I had people I worked in a cafe to build up enough money to hire the mentor again, Ben Heron. I worked in a cafe to build enough money to get my coaching certificate, and that was difficult because I was doing a job I didn't want to do, but I knew it was going to serve me down the line. And I had people in that job that said to me, "Oh, it's such a shame. It's such a shame that you were training to be a pilot. You would have had such a fantastic career. It's such a shame, isn't it?"
Yeah. How'd that feel whenever?
Demoralising, patronising, felt small, felt insignificant. And there was part of me that thought, you know what, like I'm gonna tell you one day, that things actually turned out alright. And again, if that was in spite, maybe it was, but sometimes that's the fuel to start the fire. Yeah.
We've actually heard that a couple of times. You nearly need told that to act upon it.
You do.
That sort of grit. I don't know, you know, that's something, that chip on your shoulder nearly to be like, you know what, I'm going to show you, like, you know what I mean?
Like you've got that dark energy and that light energy, and again, if that is through breakup, like, to be honest, one of the biggest catalysts was I had an ex-girlfriend of 7 years. Through the whole struggle, she was there. And in 2020, we parted ways, and that was the catalyst to me getting into coaching. That was the catalyst to saying, you're on your own. The last string has been cut. Do something with yourself. Like, you've got to get your shit together, Daniel. So when the one person in my life that was a constant in my life was no longer there, my back was against the wall. My back was against the ropes, and I thought, right, okay, I need to make something of myself here.
It's a sink or swim, really, isn't it?
It was sink or swim. Yeah. It absolutely was. But that was the catalyst. And again, forever thankful for her as well, because always backed me to the hills, you know.
Yeah.
Again, still like a lot of love there.
7 years, big time, isn't it?
For sure, 100%. But that was the catalyst, and I'm so grateful that backed me into a corner that actually made me act, because I don't know if I would have changed. Again, it's Chris Williamson talks about the region beta paradox.
Yeah.
If you were to go to a mile or less, you would walk it. If it was a mile and over that, you would drive it. So as a result, you would actually be quicker driving a mile and more than less than 1 mile. So it needs to be worse to actually be the catalyst to get out. Because you would rather a relationship be awful, it's going to push you to a corner to make you to change, than something just be okay. Because people just exist in this this okay, and that's a dangerous place to be. It's the same people not having fulfillment in their career.
Yeah. It's not bad enough that they want to leave, but it's not, you know, good, isn't it? That's one of those things. There's a name for it, or there's something for it, like...
I've got a lot of them, but I don't have that one, bro.
No, I was like, there's definitely something I've definitely heard. It was like, it's like you have the life. It's like average, you know what I mean? It's not bad enough you want to leave, but it's like you're still getting that paycheck and stuff. Yes, comfortable. Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah. Do you think breakup's a big thing, like a big tool you can use?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's dark energy that you can put into, you can fuel the fire with. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I don't feel like you always want to be operating from a place of like dark energy. Revenge. A place of like, I'm gonna get them back. I'm hurt. The trauma. I think that's the best thing to get you going. Personally speaking, that's anecdotal.
Yeah.
But I think long term, once you get the position where you're now in a good place, you need to think, okay, what is driving me now? What's driving me now is that I know I can have an impact on more people than I initially thought I could have. And what's driving me now is that, okay, like I'm going to be crafting a life not for me but for Tia, for kids that we'll have down the line, for my family as well. Like, it needs to come from a place of passion, needs to come from a place of inspiration. But that dark energy can definitely get you going, you know. And I think when it comes to people in a career, always choose fulfillment over security. Because if you're secure and you're fantastic at a job that you're not passionate about, imagine how good you're going to be in a job that you actually are passionate about. And if you're fulfilled and you have the work ethic, the security's going to come down the line. You know that yourself. Yeah. But it takes asking yourself, are things going to get better here? And usually those things get worse with time. And a lot of people don't change career because of the judgment of people that won't be at their funeral. And that's a sad thing. But I think you need to ask yourself, if you're in a position where you don't love your job, it's, okay, who has to deal with the ramifications when you go home at night and the lights go off? That you don't love what you're doing? It's you. Yeah. So...
It's powerful, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
It is, yeah. I suppose so. That's maybe blow it, that's maybe, yeah.
What's the key to happiness, do you feel?
Having an infinite ability to reframe every situation. Being able to look for the silver lining. Again, your experience is dictated by your ability to reframe situations. There might be a lot that happens to you. Like, we have no choice over the deck of cards that we're dealt with, but we do have a choice of how we play that hand. So no matter what goes on in your life, you don't have any control over those things that happen to you, but you have every control of how you respond. Yeah. So you need to ask yourself, when difficult things are arising, what's the silver lining here? Like, what's the good in the situation? I've woken up, I'm tired, I don't want to go to the gym, but I also get to go to the gym, and I know that if I do this, my life is going to be better tomorrow. Like, I don't want to go to work, but I also, like, I get the opportunity to provide for my family, and I think that's absolutely key. Like, the key to happiness is being able to appreciate the little things and never losing the validity in those little things.
It's wee wins, isn't it?
That's it. Because, again, your life is not cocktails on a beach. Yeah. It's not holidays in Dubai. It's the flat whites in the morning. It's the sunrise. It's going in and waking up, and your little Scottish granny being there, being like, "Hello, Daniel." That's life. Yeah. And being able to appreciate those things, that's absolutely key. But I also think you need to have something that you're working towards. That's the thing about guys. Guys work best when they're building things, building a business. In pursuit, yeah. Yeah, a relationship, whatever it is. I heard that from somewhere, I don't know, I can't remember the quote, but I just thought to myself, wow, like, that's so true. Because sometimes when you get in a relationship, say, you nearly become complacent. You know, I'm in a relationship. Yeah. I'm doing okay. Yeah. Instead of climbing and keeping going, you know. As in, when the breakup happens, then the real work starts, do you know what I mean? And why is that, do you think? Oh, interesting. You switching the boat here. I like it. It's like an in-betweeners. When Dale's like, I'm going to interview you. No, I like it. It's a difficult question to answer. It is. I always sort of take the mindset as the student. You know, this is always why I like asking the questions, because I always feel like I'm not qualified enough to answer. Do you think that's a limiting belief? Yes, but I feel like it's a driving force as well. I don't know. It depends. If you see the silver lining in it, then 100%. Like, I think you need to, like, instead of like, again, maybe I'm not qualified enough to give advice on mindset. Yeah. I don't have a qualification. Yeah. But I do have a lot of experiences, and I do recognize and realize that me talking about my experience has the ability to impact one person and change someone's life. Yeah. And if I don't do that, that's a disservice to other people. It takes the onus solely off me and puts it on other people. And I think that's the most important thing. So, like, if you have a gift, if you have experiences which you have overcome, I think sharing that is that's a gift to other people. What do you feel your gift is? That's a good one. You maybe got me there.
Because you just mentioned it there, and I thought, what's your thing? Do you think?
I believe I have a gift of leaving people in a better position than I found them. So if that's walking into a room and uplifting someone, if that's walking in the room and giving someone a compliment, if that's taking someone through my coaching program, if that's having a conversation with the lady at the beach, I believe that I leave those people in a better position than before the conversation. And that's not me saying that from a place of arrogance. That's me saying that from... I've done a lot of bad things in my days. Like I've been the catalyst to a lot of trauma and hurt for other people, and for me being able to help and inspire other people.
Yeah.
When I think about it now, that's like a personal pursuit of mine to rectify the hurt that I maybe caused back in the day. And that might have been through being a manipulative guy, that might have been like a toxic individual by bringing other people down, and hopefully the work that I do now helps and inspires other people, and that does rectify that. So that's what I would say if you'd ask. You put me on the spot there. That was a good question, but I genuinely do believe that.
Yeah. I wonder if someone maybe doesn't know their gift or is looking for their gift, how can someone maybe find their gift? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
how can someone, say a client came to you and maybe was completely in the dark, didn't know what to do, didn't know, just in a dark position, similar to what you probably were in 2019, how can they probably find...
I would ask what their values are, firstly. Like, again, I didn't know what I wanted to do as a coach, but I asked myself, what do I value? I value helping people.
Yeah.
I value making people feel better and communicating. And I also value health and fitness. And when I put all of those things together, it only pointed in one direction, to be a coach. So I think ask yourself...
Like self-analysis nearly, isn't it? You really have to...
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but you need to ask yourself, what do you value as an individual? And I would also ask other people, what do you like about me most? Like, why are you friends with me? Why do you hang around with me? It's like, I would ask my clients sometimes, like, what made you come to me as a coach? And I think that's a fantastic way to understand your strengths, because they say, I love your energy. I love the way you don't take any shit. I love the way you give me it straight and black and white. I love the way that you always have an infinite ability to reframe bad situations to make it better and make me feel positive about the future instead of in despair.
Yeah.
That's how I know what my gift is, not from me pulling that out of my arse. It's asking the people closest to you, well, what is my gift? So I think speak to the people around you and ask them, what do you value about me? What are you friends with me for?
Yeah. It's powerful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think if you're unsure about what avenue you want to go down when it comes to your career, sitting on Instagram, scrolling at night, that's not going to lead you to where you want to go. That's not going to get you an answer. But what might give you an answer is asking yourself, what do I enjoy? I maybe enjoy going to the gym. I maybe enjoy music. I enjoy computer program, whatever that is. Say it's music. I heard this in a podcast and he said, okay, you enjoy music? Read a book about it. Join a Facebook group. Speak to a friend in the industry. Give yourself permission to explore that avenue.
Yeah. Because
your purpose comes from exploration and not thought. And one of two things will happen. You either, one, you realise, nah, you know what, that's just a hobby. I don't want to do that full time.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board. Or two, that lights your soul on fire.
You get an answer.
You get the answer.
Yes.
So
that's an interesting thing you just said there, setting your soul on fire.
Yeah.
Do you know Kieran May?
No, I maybe know him the same.
Yeah, he was on our podcast a couple of guests ago, and that was like the thing we took away from him. He says, if you're lost, find out what sets your soul on fire and do that. And I think it was it's pretty interesting you saying that.
Yeah, it's what makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
You know, and my family, you'd think I was crazy if I'm sitting doing check-ins and you hear me going, woo! Being like shouting down the WhatsApp to someone.
What day to be alive, baby!
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Again, like that fires me up. Like seeing someone improve and being like, oh my god, I didn't know how to do this, and now I'm in a position where like I'm really confident. My friends, my girlfriend's telling me you look fantastic. You feel like your energy is insane. Yeah, that's fulfilling. So yeah, I would say give yourself time to explore those avenues and see when you realize, because it will happen more times than not. Like you will find your thing once. you will be wrong way more often.
Yeah.
So it's accepting that when you're wrong, when you realise that's just a hobby, I don't want to do that, it's realising, okay, that's normal, and that's one less thing that you know is not for you. So that's good. That's one
That's
thing.
that's a win.
That's a win. It's one
Yeah.
thing ticked off the list. Again,
Yeah.
we're reframing things
Yeah,
here.
100%. Yeah. I was going to say here, are you a big risk taker? Would you say that?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's a trait you need to become successful?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think the question I always ask myself, and I speak to my clients about, I speak to other coaches about, is what's the worst that could happen? Like, what is the worst that could happen? I'd say to my clients, like, are you going to die? No. You're fine then. Like, you either die or you grow.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Are you an all-in man?
Yeah.
If this was a betting sense, I seen like the table over there. Would you be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm all in on everything?
Absolutely, and that's a blessing and a curse, and it was definitely a curse back in the day. And it's, again, that's why, like, if I'm drinking, I like
all in
to
on
go
drinking.
Like, don't get me wrong, now it's gotten to the position now where, like, of course, like, I can discipline myself, where I'm like, you know what, if I'm going out with my girlfriend, I'd have one drink, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, if I'm drinking, I'm out all night. I wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I was, and now it's like with the dips, with the content, it's like if you do it, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, my dad said something to me once when I was growing up, and it's very simple. He says, if you do anything in life, do it right. That's it. Like, do it right.
Yeah.
So simple, but it's so true.
Yeah. Are they all into the personal development stuff?
My dad has been in the bin like 200 days in a row.
Has he?
Every day.
No way.
Every day. My dad's more obsessed with it than me. He met someone last night, and he was, we were out for dinner last night. My granny Menti over from Scotland, and he was telling this guy at the bar about how many degrees the bin was and how many bags of ice. And the guy,
I love that.
The guy was clearly not interested. But my dad was like, again, it lit his soul on fire. My dad got a big fridge freezer for all the ice. He goes and buys it wholesale. He loves it. And he's like, 10 bags of ice today, or like 6 bags of ice. He's like,
how'd you get him to do it? Did he see you and be like, you know what?
So I've been doing it. I've done a challenge last year. That's a big part of the socials blowing up, and I started a 100 days cold water challenge to inspire other people to do it. And it was just a content strategy as well, to be honest, at the time. And he thought, it was like, you're crazy, you're nuts. And then he thought, well, I could do that too. And I says, all right, go on then. And of course he could do it.
Yeah.
I'm a product of it. I'm an offspring, like. Of course he has it in his tank, you know. So so he started it, and
200 days in a row, did you say?
he hasn't stopped. Yeah,
That is not like.
he hasn't stopped.
Do you think you sort of get that resilience from him?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't really know. I would say there's maybe something in there, but I always looked at my mum and dad growing up, and you see those people as superheroes. That actually, we'll get onto that, but I see my dad as like a superhero, same as my mum. There was just nothing, like there's so many setbacks after setbacks, and they just kept going. Obviously they have to keep going, but I think sometimes people forget that, like, parents, it's their first time round too.
Yeah.
You need to cut them some slack. And growing up, like, my mum and dad, like, I was just like, oh, they could do anything, like, there's nothing that would faze them. Like, the idea of like anything bad happening, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I actually had a conversation with a friend last week, and we were talking about our heroes, and I said, my dad's my superhero, and he said to me, he called me out, and he says, this was after the event, and he said, have you told him? And I was like, I hadn't told him. And he said, I want you to go home today and I want you to tell him. And I asked him the same question, and he said there was somebody that he wanted to tell that he loves, and he hadn't told her. And I said, okay, let's shake on it. You do yours and I'll do mine. And I came over, I said, I'll tell my dad tonight. One of the guys is like, are you sorting daddy issues out or something? And I was laughing. But again, I went home that night, and I was like, listen, I was chatting to the guy today, and he was asking me who my superhero was, and I said that was you, and I just thought you should know. And he said, I was like, oh, that's really nice, and I felt really good about it. So I think, like, if there's somebody that you love, if that's your parents, if that's a girlfriend, whatever that is, tell them.
Yeah.
You might not get that opportunity tomorrow, and we're literally orphans in the making. Like, we're on a waiting list to become orphans, which is a scary thought, but it's so true. There's going to be one day down the line where you won't have the ability and you won't have the opportunity to be able to hug your parents. Today's that day. So go hug them, go tell them you love them and appreciate them.
Was your dad surprised whenever you told him that? What was your... I'm guessing it was quite emotional nearly, was it?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. Like, it was like, maybe, I just didn't know how to articulate it. I thought, oh, if I can tell my clients, like, I tell my clients, like, oh, I love you, brother. Like, I tell my girlfriend, some of them made me feel uncomfortable. Like, I would say, like, go in the bed, like, oh, I love you, whatever. But I never told them that, and I just felt a wee bit uncomfortable about it, which was strange.
Yeah.
So
especially because like, you know, we're men and stuff, and you're not really meant to show nearly emotion like that.
For sure,
It?
But like, he appreciated that. But I think we should all tell those people, because there's gonna come a day where we won't have that opportunity. We won't have that luxury.
You know what I'm gonna do after I speak to you here?
Yeah.
Before I go on the date, I'm gonna tell my dad. He's my superhero.
You wanna shake on it?
Yeah, 100%, man. What are you going to do?
I think you were gonna tell the girl on the date you love her. I was like,
No.
I was like, oh my god.
No way.
Oh, I was like,
Backtrack, man.
Put it in reverse, Jerry. Put it in reverse.
I've told him too much.
It's like, too much.
You've aced social media, right?
Appreciate it.
You've aced it, like you 100% have, like you just don't, like, in the nicest way possible, you don't give a fuck, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It has to be like that.
How can people stop giving a fuck what people think of them?
Write their name down. So I want you to think of the person or the people that you're holding back because of. And I want you to write their names down in black and white. Don't do it in your notes. Write their names down on a piece of paper and say their name aloud. Ask yourself, is their opinion more important than yours? Does their opinion supersede your opinion? And if the answer is yes, then they are currently in control of your life. And are you okay with that? Like, are you okay with that person being in control with your life? The answer should be no. But actually, the act of writing it down, it makes it real. It shows us, like, this person is actually in control of my life right now, and I should not be okay with this. So what I tell my clients is, I want you to write the person's name down, and I want you to send me it back. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with them being in control of your outcome, of your confidence, of your fulfillment? That should be a no. And realizing that the people that you're holding back because of, the people that you're suppressing your personality because of, they're never going to be at your funeral. Those people, you will not care about those people in 40, 50 years' time. So why should you care about them today?
That's good.
That's what I would say about that.
That's good stuff. I've never heard that before, to be honest.
Yeah, it's, again, I think
Did you do that? Was that something you did at the start?
Yeah. Not at the start, but recently.
Yeah.
Recently, and there's not something I personally don't really give a about other people's opinions. Even the people closest to me, yes, I care about them, but I also take things with a pinch of salt. And again, as long as it's not hurting or damaging other people, I feel like the biggest service that you can give is being yourself.
Did you ever find it hard to, like, post on social media whenever you, like, were in a friend group and stuff, and everyone's like, here, like, lad, what are you doing? Or like,
no, thankfully my friends were always very supportive. I got people giving jibes, and people said that, and I think when something isn't successful, people have a leg to stand on. Okay, they believe that, okay, well, this guy's doing X and he's not getting Y, what a dick.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's putting stuff on social media, and for what? It's only when it becomes a success that they turn around and they say, oh, that's unreal, mate, well done.
Yeah.
You know, but my friends, thankfully, were very supportive throughout. Girlfriend, very supportive throughout. And, like, I just knew where I wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
Like, I just knew that it was going to happen.
Tunnel vision, you know, something like that nearly.
Yeah, and it's a case of, like, okay, if you post every single day, if you don't miss, if you refine, it's not, like, you cannot lose. You genuinely cannot lose. If you're refining it, if you're reviewing what's doing well, if you're being yourself, like, people are gonna like the stuff that you're putting out.
Yeah. Do you post every day? Is that something you do?
I haven't missed since I started posting.
Seriously?
Which has been last March. Yeah, not March there, the March previous. So
you're nearly in that routine of it, like.
If I don't miss, this sounds awful, but I used to say to people, I would rather my granny get hit by a bus. I would rather my granny get hit by a bus than miss a day posting social media. That's how I framed it in my head. And again, frame it whatever way you want, but the way I frame things allows me to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm in the gym, I was like, if there was a gun, like I said to my clients, this sounds extreme. If there was a gun to your dad's head and you didn't get 2 more reps, could you get the reps? Yeah, 100% you could. Yeah. So it's not that you couldn't have got the reps, it's there wasn't a big enough why. It's like, again, on the stage the other day, I said, if you had to, could you get a sale every day of the year? Probably, maybe could, maybe not, I'm not sure. If there was a gun to your dad's head and you had to get one sale, one sign up for every single day this year, could you do it? Absolutely. You would make it happen. Make it happen regardless. Every single minute, you would be obsessed with it because there's no option to fail. And at the end of the year, you have signed up all those clients, and realistically, like, the potential to sign those clients up was always there, but there just wasn't a big enough why. So you need to get clear on your why as to what you're actually doing it for. Because on the days where you don't want to do it, when it's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, you're tired, maybe hungover.
What else?
What? I feel like David Goggins.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, Roger that. But it's true. Like when on those days, that's when we don't want to do it, and that's when you need to ask yourself, why am I actually doing what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
And there needs to be a deep why, and there is a deep why. Like again, why I started training. Like again, it was very simple. When I was 17, it's girls in Topshop used to say my arms were really skinny and they had bigger arms than me. As a young man, that made me feel very emasculated. As a young man, I felt humiliated. That was a big enough reason for me to show up and train.
Yeah.
Now it's completely different. I train. I do the bin because I don't ever want to go back to where I was in 2019. That is a strong enough why, because I know the emotions and feelings that comes with that.
Yeah.
I'll never go back there. I know that for a fact. People say, be careful what you know. I know I'll never go back there. And that's comforting to know that.
Yeah.
But that's why every single day I still have to do that. Because I know every time I do it, every promise I keep, I'm one step further from 2019 Daniel. It's that cat we spoke about.
I seen you actually said, even whenever you were in your lowest, you still went to the gym.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
It was the only escape I had.
Yeah.
It was the only escape that I had. The whole day would have been filled with anxiety, with worry, with shame, with guilt. But when I went to the gym, all I was thinking about was the set. All I was thinking about was, okay, a couple more reps. That was a mental breather for me. So it meant in that hour, that was a breather. So it was an absolute game changer for me. So through that was one thing which I leant on. You know,
the gym.
It was the gym. Yeah, it was the gym. And don't get me wrong, I was still doing things which weren't conducive to a healthy lifestyle, but that was 1 hour of the day which was a breather for me, which was actually positive. So like anyone going through something difficult, like what's something that you can do which is going to make you feel better after doing it? Because I never left the gym feeling worse. Always.
If you had one piece of advice for someone watching this is one question we ask on every podcast. If you had one piece of advice for someone watching this right now, what would you say?
To become a better person, to grow their business. What would that be? Or is that relative?
It's sort of
subjective. It's okay.
It's
open to the floor.
Completely. That's the type of thing I'm thinking. But like,
okay. So give me the question again.
What's one piece of advice? Maybe I'll frame it this way. If someone is like the 2019-year-old or 2019 version of you watching this right now, needing to hear something right now, what would you say to help them? If they're looking,
I would say that if you're in an environment which currently isn't serving you and you know it's making it worse, you need to do every single thing in your power to get out of that environment. And if you are the toxic tree in that environment, then you need to rip it down. And the first step that I would take is looking at someone that's in a position is that where you want to go. You need to run towards that person. If you don't believe in yourself, you need to have somebody that believes in you. So look for that person, find them, hunt them down, and do everything you can to work with that person, learn from that person, lean into that person. And what I do with a lot of my clients, I ask them the question, I want you to think back to a time when you were a 9 out of 10. Like a 9 out of 10. You felt fantastic. You felt unbelievable. What were the habits, behaviours, rituals, environments that were present in your life at that time? And now I want you to look back to a time when you were a 2 out of 10. You were low. Your back was against the wall. You were operating from a place of circumstance and not vision. Look at the habits, behaviours, rituals and environment that was present at that time. There will be a disparity in those two people, in those two circumstances. And what you need to do, if you're at a 2 right now, you need to look at when you were a 9 out of 10 and you need to emulate every single habit, behaviour, environment at that time. And when I'm in a position now where I don't feel fantastic, I look at the deposits in my life and I look at the withdrawals. So I have a list of deposits, I have a list of withdrawals, and if somebody's not feeling themselves, if somebody wants to get out of a rut, you need to ask yourself, what gives me energy, what puts me in a better position? And for me, the deposits, it's meditating, it's doing the bin, it's going for a swim, it's not drinking excessively, all of those things. My withdrawals are drink, taking drugs, excessive caffeine, excessive alcohol, all of those things. So if I'm at A and I need to get to B, I just implement the deposits. It's like a contingency plan, a step plan. I tick the box and then I get to where I want
checklist.
to go. That's all it is. It's ticking the box, because when we are overwhelmed, when we're in a position where we're inside the bottle and we can't read the label on the outside of the bottle, we're operating from a place of circumstance and not vision. We have no clarity on the situation. So what we need to do is zoom out. We need to take a level playing field, and we need to ask ourselves, okay, what do I actually need to do here, which is going to make me better tomorrow? And instead of looking at Everest, you need to look at the first step in front of you and ask yourself, what's the smallest thing that you can do today? What's the smallest thing that you can do, which you know you can't fail at? Is that getting up and making your bed? Got it. That's the first thing. Take that box. All right, on to the next one. What's the smallest thing I can do? All right, I'm going to get a shower. On it. It sounds so simple, but back in 2019, they were big hurdles for me. Getting out of bed.
Yeah.
So you need to break it down. You're not overwhelmed. You just haven't broken it down enough. And that's okay. But it's not okay to stay where you're at. That's the most important thing.
If 2019 Daniel was watching this, right? If you could play this podcast back, or if he's watching this right now, what do you think he would say?
I think he'd be crying. I think he'd be crying. I think he'd be really emotional. I think he would be overjoyed. I think he'd be uplifted. I think he'd be really proud of himself. And hopefully he'd be hitting a let's go baby. Hopefully he'd be hitting a let's go baby.
At the beach?
But I think at the beach, yeah. But he probably, I mean, realistically, if he understood where I was now, he would be very proud. If he had to meet me on the street and he didn't know that I was Daniel, he would call me every name under the sun. He would say, what a prick, look at this guy making videos. I would put him into the group chat and I would say, this guy's a dick. Who does he think he is? He needs to get his act together. Yeah. But it just shows you that the way you perceive the world now doesn't have to be the way you perceive the world 4 years down the line. You can change. You can become better. It does get better. And there is always light. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. You just can't see it just yet. And that's okay. You might not be able to climb Everest. That's fine. But you can always take the next step. And ask yourself, what's the smallest box that I need to tick today? And tick it like your life depends on it. Because the more boxes you tick, the more promises you keep, the closer you come to that person that you want to become. And everybody can become that person. And that's why I put videos out. That's what I do, why I do what I do. I want to show people that they're capable of so much more, that there's so much more in the tank, and we want to stretch that fabric of what people believe they are capable of. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I put out videos. Because that Daniel back in 2019, he didn't believe that there was more there, but there was, evidently. And if it helps one person, it's a win.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I think he would be proud.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
If people want to see you jump into the bin or go one of them beach days and stuff, where can they find you on the socials and stuff? Yeah, so hit me up, Daniel Dargan on Instagram, straight up Dargan. Yeah. Big love, and as wise man once said, let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. What's planned for the rest of the day? I'm gonna go for a dip. Are you? Yeah, Friday. So I work up until about 5 o'clock on a Friday, and then once I finish work, I'll go for a dip. Yeah. And then just chill out. My granny and my auntie are obviously over, so I don't get to see them very often. So probably just chill out this evening, take some downtime, and then I'm going to London next week, and then I'm flying out to Dubai in 3 weeks time, I think. So Dubai, and then going to Bali. Thank you so much for your time, mate. Honestly, thank you, brother. It's been I've really enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, no, I've sort of sit back and sort of was like nearly. I was thinking I was nearly like Ross, nearly like watching from the outside in. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely, what we do is we play it back, and then probably because you miss things that you don't. You know what I mean when we're talking. So we'll make notes and stuff on what you're saying. But man, thank you so much. No, thank you. I really appreciate the conversation. And again, it's not a conversation that people have enough. Yeah. And I think. We aren't chinned doing this. Yeah, there's been no drugs whatsoever. Like this is a coffee and a glass of water. This would have been
I'm not even getting into what it would have been back in the day. But yeah, it's a conversation that people don't have enough, and like doing that deep work, it's absolutely key. You know, and so grab a friend, grab a coffee, go for a walk, go for a seat, and tell those people around you that you love them, because you won't have that opportunity one day. Some people didn't this morning, but you do. That's a luxury. So appreciate it.
We need to do this again, man. We need a part 2, lad.
Yeah, I want a part 2. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll get out of the beach. We'll do it next, next time or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Northern Ireland weather, it's hit and miss, but we'll get it someday.
Yeah. So honestly, thank you so much, man.
Big love.
Yeah.
Big love, mate.
Yes.
Enjoy that conversation, my man.
That has been all from the official Young Hunger podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Let's go, baby.